Welcome to the Futtings Intermediate Workshop. A workshop that is for those DJs that can do a 1 hour set. But if you are a beginner, stick around because there is a lot to learn. Join our Discord to become a resident DJ or to download all the music and the tools that we use in this workshop. You can find these in the workshop discussion channel on the TribeXR Discord. If you want to learn how to mix on club standard gear, go to tribexr.com. And if you want to join us every week, go to live.tribexr.com. Let's get started. This is the Futtings Intermediate Workshop.
Woo woo woo!
Again,
Yes.
Your...
Hello.
I know.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Cool. Well, welcome everybody to the Futtings Intermediate Workshop. And today we're gonna talk about, again, a new genre for me at least. So it's very interesting. I know that a lot of you already are mixing this genre. And well, I just want to talk about it and show some different angles on what I noticed when listening to a lot of DJ sets of this genre, and what I think that could be done better. Okay, so I think that we just immediately gonna dive into this right now. So let's get started with the reason why I'm doing this. Well, the reason is I want everybody that plays progressive house to get into a next level, because progressive house is such a cool genre that has really long tracks. It's easy to mix, but then again, it can clash very easily. The thing is, if you do this right and record your sets, it would be nice to see your name and have a progressive house set on YouTube for the Tribe sessions. So let's keep this in mind as the angle where we are focusing on, right? So you can record a progressive house set for Tribe sessions. Just like a mindset, but well, maybe you get inspired and you will do this. Okay, so let's just dive right into this. So I noticed that when mixing this genre and really looking into towards these tracks, I'm going to load some tracks when I'm talking as well, that I noticed one particular thing that makes the mixes clash, or if you pay a lot of attention to it, that makes these mixes a lot more smoother. Just gonna load in these tracks right now, and that is the bass line. So let's keep that word in mind, because the bass line in progressive house is like the fundamental thing that kicks in. But there is something about this bass line that is putting the mix into danger. And well, I'm just going to show it right here, loading in 4 tracks, and I will set these 4 tracks on top of the first bass line of the track. So setting it up, make sure that the loop is all good. Okay, so I want to ask the class, well, I already told the answer. What is the thing that you notice inside this bass line? I'm gonna show 4 examples. 4 examples where the bass line just starts. Let's begin with these 2. So listen to the bass line. Okay, now the second track. Now the third track. Now the fourth track. What is the thing that you notice on this bass line?
Besides the fact that it every so often it has a separation, like a pause, or are you talking
No,
about?
I'm talking about notes, the actual bass line.
Oh, notes. Okay.
What is the thing that is similar to all these 4 tracks where the bass line comes in?
The kick.
The
Yeah,
frequency.
the yeah,
Key.
the thing is, all these bass lines containing one note. One note.
Yeah, they're not doubled or anything like that.
I
Yeah.
noticed that. It's all the same note.
Oh,
but
way.
it's more of a pattern. It doesn't go 4/4.
Yeah.
There is no note inside a bass line that goes up. There is no there's no chord progression. It's like that the note is this bass line is separate into 2 notes that contain 16 beats on one note and 60 beats. There is only one note when the bass line comes in. So this is not even the intro. This is after the intro where the bass line comes in. And this is where I want to focus on today. Okay, I'm just gonna show you what happened when I start analyzing these tracks, and I start analyzing it deep, just to show everybody what is going on when mixing progressive house. So what you see here, the 4 layers on top. I made this with Ableton, but I made this with Ableton. The 4 layers on top show the beats, the bass line, and the vocal. And here you will see the track as well as you would see it in Tribe or Rekordbox, right? And I just start analyzing. I just press play and I hear there are only beats and just hi-hats and sweeps, stuff like that. But on this moment is where the bass line started, right? Then the vocals came in. Then there was a big breakdown. Bass was away, beats were away. Then, well, builds up, goes back into the drop. And then you see here that at the end is where the bass line ended. And then here you have some extended beats going on, right? The thing is, though, that where the bass line ended, I moved in another track and start analyzing it. It's a different track, and you see almost the same system. It first has a beat, then the bass line comes in, then the vocals come in, also at the exact same moment, but that doesn't matter for now. And I noticed that when I put this bass line, this one-note bass line, because all these tracks containing one note, and I put that on top of a bass line that has way more notes, that started clashing on every track. And all these tracks were in the same key. So then I realized if I had set a marker or something for myself, or if I could see on the waves that where the bass stops, I could then bring in the other bass of the other track. I could even jump from this track just to pull in the bass of this track. The thing is, it's super important to know where the bass stops on a track. So you can imagine, for those that just use Beatport, right, are just throwing in tracks from a curated playlist, I should suggest you collect tracks and make your own playlist. But if you are only using curated playlists, just do the following thing, please. First, I could advise you to do this setting. So I'm going to change my camera. It's just a Tribe setting that really changed the game on listening to your music while you are mixing. So I'm gonna go to the menu system. I'm gonna press settings. Gonna press audio, and then I see here my headphone isolation. And this means that when I push this all the way to 100%, and then I cue my headphones like this, I won't hear the master out anymore. So this way, I could really dive into the track that I'm not playing at that moment, just to listen where the bass line stops, right? But it's up to you. You can also have this on 50% or have it on 100% and use one ear. It's just a way to get like a better listen to the track that you're setting up. The next thing is when you are searching for when the bass line ends, the moment you find it, and well, maybe just gonna look for an example. The moment you find it, you're just gonna set a hot cue. It's gonna set it. You're not gonna use it to trigger anything. Just set a hot cue there, so you know that the other track that you are bringing in can start showing the bass. And even if this is a bass swap on the EQ, this is the moment where the overlap should happen, where the transition should happen. And yes, of course, you can try this, but please believe me, that one note bass line that is in the intro of the incoming track will kill the vibe. It really does. So just to give like more perspective on this. So this is clear, right? For so far as it goes, right?
Oh, yeah.
So again, so yeah, well, just what I explained. I set a hot cue where the bass starts, and I set a hot cue where the bass ends. That's it. Like, that's it. I don't do anything more. Just checking the grid. Set a bass line. Set a hot cue where the bass line ends. Set a hot cue where the bass line starts. Yes. Okay, so in theory, this would be the perfect transition. I have set up a track that has an intro, starts building up, and here's where the bass line starts. I have a track, I'm vibing to it, it's all good. I have a lot of time to beat match the track, like a lot of time to beat match the track. And I could show like frequencies of this track because there is no bass line in it. And then here I can do the transition. Should I just show such a transition to start with? And then next show some examples that you may think like what could be better, like putting this track more here, see how that sounds. And then you will see that setting these markers, you can start mixing every progressive house song. Okay, so let's just play a track, moving this track into the drop, and then mixing in the next track. Here we go. So this is at the drop, and all these markers are set 64 beats from each other. So the memory cues that you see there, 64 beats. So to make it myself easy, I'm gonna go into this track right now. So I pressed play when that first marker happened. So these tracks are lined up with each other. I only have to beat match them. And I could already show the other track. I could just bring it in, but let's just do that slowly. Removing the bass, removing the mid. Here we go. Mid. So bass line is still in. Here the bass line almost comes in. So bring in more bass right now. So now the kick of that track starts building more energy towards that bass line. I don't have to do the bass swap because the bass lines will overlap each other. Don't overlap each other. Okay, that bass line started, this bass line ended. This track is still playing, could set it in a loop, but that track goes into the breakdown right now. He's losing his energy. And we're in the next track. Here we go. Okay, so the question to you, was there a moment where things interfered, or what was it like? Had it a certain waiting feeling? Did it lose the energy, or did it sound seamless?
I felt fine, me.
It's perfect for like beginning to know how to put them together. I think I think I feel that it loses some energy doing it
Mhm.
exactly like that, but it's always
Mhm.
perfect. It's always perfect because
Oh yeah.
the structure of progressive house, it just fits together.
Yeah.
You know?
I also
Yep.
noticed there was a switch up too on the other track when you introduced it.
Sorry, there's is a what?
There was like a switch up on the other deck 3,
Mm-hmm.
when you introduced it, like transitioned,
What do you mean with a switch up?
like on that one,
Yeah.
yeah, deck 4, yeah, that
What?
was
Sorry.
sense.
What?
I mean,
What?
like
What do you?
bridge
What do?
or-
You, what do you mean with a switch up?
So like when it was about to end, you like smoothly started up the second track on the breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Okay. So yeah,
Nice.
the thing, and indeed, Chase, this is like it's super safe. It's just super safe. The thing that I just see a lot in the mixes that I listen to is this, and you might think like, but yeah, sure, this totally makes sense. Just bring in the extra rhythmic stuff on top of the drop of the playing track, right? And then this builds more energy, and then this builds more energy. But at this
Then when you
moment,
get to there,
This
yes,
mm,
this moment, it's focused on that one note bass line. And then you might think, yeah, well, I'm a DJ. I can just put the bass off and it will be fine. But there will be other sounds resonating with this one note that will, yeah,
yeah,
this
it's not
this
just
is
about
still building, you know. And what I
yep.
see then is that people just fade out the building
yeah,
track. So it's still building.
Mhm.
They fade out this one and it will leave them hanging with this still playing this one note over here. So
the tail as well. It's like once you get to the end of that track, that first one, once that first one ends, you still got all that extra. Well, what I call them the sections, the phrases. But then that last phrase, when it goes from that first track to the second one, it's going to feel flat because you've
Yep.
gone from having these two bases that are they might be
Yes.
gelling well together. They might not be clashing. You might be able to get them gel well together. But then
Yeah.
as soon as you hit that last phrase, it's going to go weak because
Yep.
you're going to lose the bass from the first one. It's just going to go flat.
Yes, and that's also the danger if you put the second track, even further, so there is no bass line and you're stuck with like extended intro beats. That is also, well, it flats the. So having it later than this sounds off because you lose too much energy, and having it too having it too early. This is still building, so you really you're not vibing with this track anymore. You're totally focused on bringing in that other track, and the already building track will just lose their energy. Then there's another example that I first want to show before we go into question round, is this one. And I think personally for progressive house, it's such a shame if you play beats on an epic breakdown where there are no beats. You don't need to play beats all the time. Just let this breakdown breathe for one moment. We are already listening to beats for 5 minutes long. Just let that thing breathe. Because the same thing happens here. You have to you have to build up, then the intro where there's no bass line, and again at the drop there's that one note that doesn't do anything. It doesn't do the whole drop justice. So leave that other track away.
Mhm.
And that brings us to a certain point that why are we doing this, DJs? Why can we just vibe with a 8-minute track? Why do we have to bring in that other track? Are we bored? Are we restless? Or is this something just like, is it like that we all think we are DJs and we have control of everything, so doing it that way should be fine? Because I personally think
Mm,
I
it
personally
depends.
think it's not like it.
Yeah.
This don't bring this track in too soon, because you're killing the vibe on a track that is only building up. It's only putting extra elements in it. There's no need to put extra elements in it yourself. Well, that brings us to the second part of this workshop, and that is, you don't need to put extra elements in it of the track that you want to bring in, because you're already waiting for that moment, right? But that doesn't mean that it's fun to have extra elements into your mix. So you still could have fun doing these very long progressive house mixes. And well, in the workshop discussion channel, I shared some tools that you could use, some notes, some sweeps, and these make this type of mixing a lot of fun. And well, it's aimed for Tribe because we have 4 decks, so you could have the extra elements on deck 1 and then deck 4, with the mindset of, if you want to create a progressive house mix, there's also the benefit that you could share that mix and have that on Tribe sessions. Like, keep that in mind as well. So what we're gonna do is have some yeah. Well, 2 things: the extra elements, of course, and also, like what I said, if you are restless in your mix, you could also jump in between. We have beat jump, of course, to beat jump from this section here to here, but you could also set a breakdown marker. So if you are at this point and it builds up, you just press the breakdown and it plays the breakdown. Okay, so let's just start mixing this genre. And well, before I do, are there any questions?
Yeah. Well, not
Yes.
so much questions. Well, yeah, it's a question. I wanted to mention something about the structure of it. Should I wait and maybe at the end of the class?
No.
Put 'em-
You can bring it in right now if you want. And
Oh,
if you want to stage as well, just say so.
oh, well, it's okay at the moment.
Okay.
But so would you mind bringing up? I'm sorry, bring up that last diagram from the last part of the lesson. That
Yes.
The previous
able to. I'm so
slide.
sorry.
Yep. No, it's okay, man. This one.
Yes.
There you go.
So, so right now where it's set up, if you bring the second track up to where it breaks down,
Mm-hmm.
and not okay, this is a two-parter, and start it there with just the highs and introduce more sounds as you go, because progressive house has so much in it already, and it's progressive house. You really don't want to jump around with it because it progressively changes.
Yep.
And
Indeed.
so a lot of the times on the first track, not every time, but a lot of the times where you had it's not, the marker's
yeah.
not there right now.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, so you the very last marker, not
Mhm.
C, but the last marker right there. A lot of the times there's a build, like a build, and then it drops back into the kick. But at that point, with the other track, a lot of the times
Mhm.
there's a little space as well, and you could do a bass swap right there, and it actually really moves the energy very well, actually, I believe. And
So
then
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. You mean placing this point over here, right?
What do you mean on the second track?
Yeah. So
Well,
move the second track in earlier.
well, start it. Okay, in this scenario, you start it right at the breakdown of the first track. Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, well,
Right
that's why I switched the visual, like
Yeah,
this one.
yeah, and then just like that. Now, if you bring just the beginning before you hit the bass, like line up the bass kicks with H from the second track, where the bass starts, go ahead and line it up with H from the first track. If you could. Oh, you can't. Okay. Yeah. So if you, so you're talking about not bringing anything in during the breakdown. Sorry, and that's a good time if you got your chops to be able to make sure that the record's going at the correct. They're in sync.
Sorry.
Yep. Make sure that they're in
Yep.
sync,
Mhm.
and then starting with those highs, bring those in ever so slightly as it's building, and then as it drops, you have both bass lines right up next to each other. So like, and then you don't bring in the other bass line. You just let it ride from there,
Yep.
and then switch it over on that other point that I mentioned. Yeah, that's it. I mean,
So to
This
come to
makes sense.
yeah, it makes sense. So to come to the conclusion, you play this track right over here, but you don't show the track yet, right?
no, yeah,
So you show the breakdown of the playing track, but you don't show this part until the drop hits. Then you slowly start bringing in this track until this breakdown hits, and then this track is still at the highest energy.
no, that's not it at all. I could show you. I don't know if there's enough time. I could give an example at the end of class if you like.
Well, the fact is, yes, that would be very
Okay.
nice. And well, I don't know how many people downloaded the tracks themselves, but I could suggest to.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I could suggest to search in your track where the bass line starts and search in your track where the bass line ends. And just see for yourself if you can get those cue points on time. So that also means
yeah.
that if I set these markers, and these markers are 64 beats before this C, I could line up the other track. I know where to press play, so I could start fiddling and know where the outcome is. Even if it's 1 minute away, I still know this will land on top of it. Okay, so
Thank you.
let's mix. And well, for me, the question is really, how can we not get bored and just play out the track and mix seamless instead of mixing this track in too early? So also gonna shine a bit of light on that as well. Let's bring in some music, and well, if there are any questions in between, please ask. Here we go. So just to start with, yes. So I have this deck free for sounds, right? So I'm gonna load in a sound. Wait a minute, no. I'm gonna prepare a vocal stem for this deck. So I started my mix for Tribe Sessions, and I want to have something different, right? So I made this track that has the original right over here and the isolated vocal stem over here. And the hotkeys of this track are set the same way. So if this track hits this point, the green one, I could just press F and it will jump to the isolated vocal. But in this case, I want to bring in that isolated vocal at the breakdown of this track. And while this track is still building up, I'm diving to deck 1, and deck 1 contains sweeps and drum loops. So in this case, I'm gonna beat match it, beat sync it. I'm gonna bring in a snare and have some extra snares in it. So it's lined up. Next, I want this deck to be ready to go as well. So I'm gonna move this track to the beginning and just have it ready. Okay, so everything is set up. Still vibing, still doing my dance. And I'm already there. I'm almost hitting this marker right here. More gain. So there is no other one note bass line in this breakdown. I'm just enjoying the breakdown, extra stem on it. I want to put effects on the stems, but let's just vibe with it, right? Putting deck 1 into a fill. Bring it in. Don't want these stems too long in my mix, so I'm gonna move them out with ping pong. Setting a loop. And moving it out. Okay, so I'm almost at my transition marker, right? The first memory cue is exactly the same setup as this one. So I could just press play and the bassline swap is prepared. Almost 1 minute. Here we go, before the track ends. Bring it in. Slowly gonna show. Still have the snare right over here. Gonna bring it in. So you hear one note already showing. Gonna bring some extra energy by bringing in that snare that I have lined up on deck 1. Yes. Don't have to be afraid. Both kicks are in, so the sound system, if I was playing on a large sound system, was really pumping right now. That's okay. Tracks are all lined up, perfectly on grid. Moving the bass out, this deck. Didn't have to mess with the gain, also my mistake. Okay, so this track has vocals, so I cannot, I don't gonna mess around with other vocals. And again, I have the time, so I'm first gonna load in the next track. And I don't want to spend a lot of time doing that, so I already have my playlist prepared. Found it right here. So again, I have a lot of time. It's almost going into the breakdown. And that breakdown really has a silent part, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if I can bring in this sample, cue it first. Let the track breathe. Okay, so this sample is ready to show. Removing the base of that sample. I've set up an arpeggiator. And I also have set up rides on deck 1. And again, all these things you can download on the workshop discussion channel. Bringing it in. Slowly. Adding the rides at the drop. Having fun with the filter. Adding ping pong. Exiting the loop. And I'm already at that first memory cue marker. So bringing in the next track without volume. Here we go. Removing the arpeggiator. Slowly bring in the next track without bass. Slowly. So that ride gives a lot of energy. If I move that ride away, there's still no bass in this. So wait. Lowering the ride volume. Maybe start filtering out the ride as well. Putting the bass in incoming track. So I control the energy because I control the ride. Here we go. Next track, bass line starts right now. And again, just one note. Okay, are we ready for one more? Can load it into this deck. Make sure it's stopped. Oh! Sorry. The fact is I didn't saw any waveforms, but there were still hi-hats playing at the end of this track. So again, be patient. Just let the track play out. You will be fine. You don't have to start it that soon. So this track, really short breakdown, as you can see. This track, really short intro, as you can see. But again, if I jump 64, you will see that this marker is 64 beats from where the track brings in the bass. And over here, the green marker is where the bass stops. So I could just line up my track right over here. And in the meantime, well, I still have my rides over here. And let's just bring in a synth sound on deck 4. And again, these sounds you can just collect on the workshop discussion channel. Okay, so extra melody right over there. Gonna listen to it. Gonna bring it in right here. Key sync it. Ping pong. Setting a 3/4 beat loop. Page 2. create some polyrhythm. Again, this track is still building up, so there's no need to bring in the other track already. Removing the synth, filtering down, more ping pong delay, and away right here. So this track is going into the second drop. Have this already lined up. And yes, of course, I could also just create a loop. 1, 2, so there's a 16-beat loop of hi-hats that I could bring in right now. Here we go. Creating more energy by using the intro of this track that only contains beats. And again, this almost hits the marker, so that means I have to exit the loop so the bass lines will line up. Here we go. Exiting the loop. Setting deck 4 in reverse with that synth sound. I'm just gonna bring that in. So there comes an extra kick in right now, creating more energy. Also bringing in the ride. Turning the jog wheel. Create some extra noise. And slowly moving the ride away. And we're in the next track. Again, this track is still playing out. So I'm not gonna press stop this time. The bass is out. Here we go. And well, you saw that the moment that this track ended, the vocal started on that deck as well. So I feel that everybody is really vibing now with this mix, right?
Oh yeah. That was a nice flow. Definitely.
And it all comes down to this, ladies and gentlemen. It all came down to this. I only set a marker where the bass line starts, and I only set that marker where the bass line ends. And yes, I set some extra markers to show me 64 beats until this moment happens, so I could line up both tracks, and it gives me also a better perspective, especially if a track is longer. So I'm going to load in a very long track just to show that longer tracks will give a different visual on the screen, and which makes it harder to know what you're looking at. Beep, 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 beep. Where's my sorry. So in this case, this is a track that is 8 minutes long. Yeah, this is not the best example, but well, as you can see, if the waveform is longer, the hot cues will and the memory cues will be closer next to each other. So that's why I set more than one memory cue, just to give me a good visual feedback. Yes, so yeah, this brings us to this point where I really hope that people start collecting songs from, well, different curated playlists, different pools, make a playlist. And also, because this is progressive house, I'm just going to show everybody right now. This is something that we didn't dive into yet. But these tracks that I collected for this workshop are all in the same key. They don't have the same root key, because I also put the root key into the track. And the root key is the key that sounds good towards the entire song. So this track has A on it, D, D, A, and A is the root key. And it's in 1M, and also to show it in classical, it's in A minor. And, well, the more progressive house tracks you collect, the more songs will sound good on top of each other. So you must see this as a small part of a bigger collection where these songs already fit perfectly on top of each other. That's the way you need to see it, like this. And, well, for you, you can download these tracks again from the workshop discussion channel and just start already mixing it like I'm doing right now in this workshop. They're not added to be mixable. They are by me. They are in the original form factor. The only thing you need to do, search where the bass line starts, set a memory cue or a hot cue, search where the bass line ends, and set a hot cue or a memory cue. Cool, right?
Yeah. No, it is.
Yes.
It really is.
Or is this,
Nice.
well, that's the question. Or is this too much to take in? Like, is this, if you're mixing, is this not fun enough to, because you have a lot of time to do this, right? Within each track.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
is this a boundary for you as a DJ to do this during your mix, or should you do this before you start mixing these tracks?
What do you mean before? Like, get it ready?
Yeah,
Or
get it prepped.
oh yeah. I mean, that ideally that's what you should always do. But sometimes you just pull from the curated playlist.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But I've a lot of progressive house is like structured almost exactly the same way. I mean, you could put waveforms up next to each other, and a lot of them are structured just the same
Yeah.
way, and you get a feel for it.
Yep. Yeah, because I can imagine for us DJs, of course you can say, yeah, well, this waveform is lower, so the bass line will stop here. But that maybe not be true, because the bass, the waveform is lower at this point, but this is the point where the bass line starts. So you cannot always, like, if you don't set these markers and think like, yeah, well, I can just read the waveforms. Yeah, it's not
Some
always
songs just
true.
end to. I mean,
Yep.
I've gotten songs where they just stop. Like,
Yeah, well, me too. I
Yeah.
collected a few, and especially the vocal heavy tracks. They
Yeah.
build up super fast and they stop super abrupt. So I found that these really hard to mix as well. Yeah.
What you showed with the vocals though, that's a perfect example of being able to flow, because you can go from vocal song to vocal song like that without overlapping, and it always seems to work.
Yeah.
Just about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
thanks.
Very nice.
Yeah, and that's also a way to put stems into your mix as well. So I'm combining other workshops with this workshop. But yeah, to make a track like that, I could also jump into the original. I did not do that during this workshop because I found it was more important to stay focused on this particular part. Well, on this whole particular part, because I am bringing the track in right here because it only contains beats, right? But I also need to focus where the energies lie right here. And over here, like in between, I just could add other stuff and create energy with a ride, create more melody with a synth. It's all possible here in Tribe with 4 decks. So, yes. Well, I do have 2 tracks left. But are there any questions? Because this workshop could also go into a totally different direction. Are there any questions?
Mhm. Not so much questions.
Sorry? Lots of
No,
questions.
no,
Well, tell me.
no. Well, not so much questions. Can I show you a quick example of what I meant? I feel like I
Oh,
didn't
wait.
explain it right.
Yes. Sorry. I'm going to put you on stage and you're going to show us a transition that is in the Tribe sessions that you are going to record tonight,
Yes.
right?
So I'm just gonna I'm just gonna start like on the breakdown of the first track, and I was able to put your tracks into Dropbox, so I'm using the same ones.
Okay, cool.
Uh,
I have to put you on stage, something that I'm not as used to.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so
Oh,
no, it's okay. So you're on stage and it's
and
recording
visual.
both. I'm gonna walk out of the screen.
Dex. Okay. Sorry, it's changing my camera. It's the front overhead. There we go.
I'm gonna open the stage as well, so you are first.
Thank you. So like during this time, if I'm just pulling from a curated playlist, this is where I'll match the beat. Like I'll make sure that everything is in sync before I start anything. And depending on the structure of the song itself, you can really, after a while, you can kind of tell where you should start things and where you shouldn't if you're doing like experimental stuff or whatnot, you know, as you progress. So in this instance, I would bring it in right when it drops because of the distance here. Should be the distance there, and then I can swap the bass over right when the kick hits. I'd even check it, see if it was in D. See, now I really just have the highs. Normally I'll have the like hi-hat, bring in the mids a little bit, and kind of builds, but not too much because you don't want to overlap too many sounds at the same volume. And now this will give it like a little bit more of a kick with this breaking. It's just kind of building it. Now I was wrong about the amount of time here, but what I can do is just jump forward.
Jumped back. You beat jumped back or forward? Sorry.
Forward 32
Forward.
beats. Yeah,
Okay,
because I was
forward.
off 32 on this one. And then right
So
here
left
where...
deck is lower the energy and the right deck is building up energy, right?
Yes, exactly. And then right after this breakdown is when I'm going to do the bass swap right here.
And that's also where the vocals start. So that was a perfect timing.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to show. So,
Well, thank you. That is
Yeah.
like that is a perfect example. Thank you.
no problem. Thank you.
Um,
Thank you for letting me.
No problem. I'm gonna put back the stage. Yes. Yeah. So what you showed is exactly this. You brought in the other track at the drop, and the bass came in, but you had the bass EQ still off. Then you jumped further into the track where the vocals started at this moment. And well, you didn't fade out this track. This track was already lowering the energy. So that's why that really worked. The thing is why I wanted to show this as wrong is that I heard a lot of mixes where this track was still building, still adding layers, and then the DJ decided to just move out the track and leave me alone. Well, leave me hanging with less energy. So having
Yeah, right.
these two in and this one still building up. You need to
you
play
gotta
out
read
this
that.
one. You need you need to read if this one is lowering the energy, and where the lowest point of energy is, of course, where the baseline where the
Drops down.
where the baseline ends. This is the lowest part of the track where the energy is the lowest because the baseline is ending, and you're left with beats, nothing more. And it's already lowering down in this case, but in a lot of tracks, the energy is still very high at this part. So that's why I wanted to start focusing everybody to
Yeah.
listen where the bass starts again and where the bass stops. But indeed, Chase, you showed a wonderful example on how to be more creative
Thank
at
you.
the
But that
moment of
comes
the
in
drop.
time.
It comes in time, and I also, well, if you would do that same transition again on the other track, you know, it
Yeah,
could.
yeah. Well, you got to read it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like if you got a track that's building, no, you don't want to do a bass swap. You know, I've learned that the hard way so many times. You know,
Yep.
you just if you can move with it, yeah, but it's not safe.
Yep.
That's the thing.
Listen, people, what Chase just said. You cannot always do a bass swap. That's the thing
Yeah.
that I wanted to tell.
Yeah,
You have to
yeah.
really do the bass swap where the bass swap is actually where the actual bass swap is in terms of the production itself. Or like what you say, like really read when the energy lowers down and then be creative with the bass line. But stay focused because the bass line of the other track will have one note. And if this bass line is having more notes, they will also clash in terms of melody.
For
And
things that'll
that
never steer you wrong. Really, no, seriously. Good stuff, man. Really.
thanks. Oh,
Mhm.
thanks. Well, that brings us to the end of this
Aw.
workshop. And I hope to see everybody next week. And yeah, well, maybe gonna collect more progressive house tracks. And I really hope that some of you may have the courage to start recording for tribe sessions. And you can also just record your own genre, what you wish. But do check out what genres are already there, so you know what to bring in to the Tribe XR YouTube channel. Thank you. Cool.
Thank you.
Well, hope to see everybody next week. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.